Hey guys! Welcome to the first of many videos that I'm going to be putting together in a series highlighting how to go about being a webcam model. Now, I'm just going to throw this in there before I forget. I'm going to say cam girl a lot, but really this applies to everybody of any gender. One thing to note as well is that all of the advice I'm giving you is based on personal experiences and perspectives, and so what I have to say may not apply to everyone. Now, there's a lot that goes into being a performer in this industry, so I'm going to be as thorough as possible. However, just in case I miss things, feel free to ask questions, as I will be doing a question and answer video at the end of the series to pretty much cover anything I might have missed. Now, some people might skip over this step or think it's redundant, but I can assure you it is important. The first step is figuring out whether or not camming is even right for you. Now, camming, although it is a really big industry, still isn't really considered socially acceptable, which is understandable. It's part of the porn industry, and I mean, while I think that things like that should be okay, that's kind of beyond the point. It's also just not meant for everyone, pornographic aspects of it aside. So there's a few things that you need to think about. Now, the first thing you need to ask yourself, and it's pretty basic, is would you be comfortable doing this? I mean, you're going to be exposed to the world, you're going to be doing sexual acts, and I mean, some people just want to keep that to themselves. Now, if you're desperate for money, I get it, but you're going to hate yourself if you do this just for the sake of that. You have to know that you are okay with what you're doing. Personal boundaries and limitations are much more important than any potential earnings you could make being in this industry. Now, the next thing you need to consider is how this might affect your career. This could be a present job that you have while you're camming on the side, or something you're looking to get into in the future. You have to keep in mind that a job like this can have a negative impact on your reputation and could inhibit your ability to gain or keep a job. Also, you have to consider the fact that this is not something you can put on a resume. So you also have to think about how you would explain that gap in your employment history. These are definitely important things to consider, as it would be really shitty if you ended up trying to get a job in the future that your camming history got in the way of. Now, the next question is, how would you feel if your grandmother found out? Of course, this question goes beyond the specifics of it. It refers to everybody in your life. Despite the fact that cam sites do have settings in place that allow you to adjust what locations people can see you from, there is always the possibility of being caught or found out, and you have to be willing to face those consequences because there's no way to guarantee that it won't happen. If after you go through all these internal reflections and consider the options and decide that you still want to go through with camming, the next thing to figure out is how you want to go about it. There are so many outlets through which you can perform cam shows. The majority are cam sites, but if you know how to self-promote, Skype can also be an option. I wouldn't recommend bothering with Skype until you've actually built up a decent client base though, but we'll get into that later. Different cam sites run differently and have different rules, so you need to do a lot of research to find the one that suits you best. I posted a list of cam sites in the video description below that you can look through, but you can also find more options simply by using Google. When researching cam sites, something that is very unfortunately and frequently overlooked is the rules. Learn them and understand them before you start performing. So many girls have been caught giving away free shows without being allowed to, which sucks for them because A, you're giving a free show, so you're not getting paid for it, and B, it can ruin your reputation on the site and sometimes lead to being banned. So make sure that you know and are willing to follow the rules set in place by the cam sites you choose. Other things to consider when looking up cam sites is what percentage they pay, what their traffic is like, how frequently they send paychecks, and well, yeah, that's all I can think of right now. I highly encourage you to check out the performers in free chat, or hell, maybe even buy a small show, just to kind of get a feel for how it works, how they interact with clients, so on and so forth. Be sure to take lots of notes on the various sites you're looking into, weigh the pros and cons, and take your time. You don't have to jump onto the first website you come across. If you're having trouble deciding which sites you want to work on, or a singular site depending on your internet connection, try signing up for all of them, or whichever ones you're trying to decide between. Then what you can do is try one site one night, another one another night, so on and so forth. Kind of cycle through them, and you can get a feel hands-on as to which ones would work best for you. In summary, the first couple steps that you need to take are simply reflecting on whether or not it would be the right choice for you to make, and doing a lot of research to figure out which sites would work best for you. Keep your eyes peeled for the next video, where I'll be talking about taking safety measures as well as the basics of getting set up. Catch you later!